Hello once again. We will be doing soil and crops for this chapter as a last part of the series of videos that we have seen. In this chapter, we'll talk about soil related crops, soil pollution and soil erosion. Before we plunge into the topic, let us first quickly recap what we have done till now. So we have already done the soil and its importance. We have done the soil profile. We talked about the different types of horizon. So we'll have O horizon, B horizon, A horizon, C, D, which is the bedrock. Then we also did types of soil. So in types of soil, we learned about three types of soil: loamy, sandy, and clay. And how are they different? What is the difference? What is the percolation rate? What is the particle size? What is the absorption capacity? So this is what we have done. And in the properties of soil, so on the basis of which property are these three soils differentiated is being covered in properties of soil. So we talked about percolation rate, the moisture and the absorption capacity of that particular soil. Now in this topic, soil and crops, we should be aware of that soil, apart from being made by weathering of rocks and a mixture of sand and clay and humus, it also is affected by the wind, the rainfall, the temperature of that particular place, the light and the humidity. So all these factors also impact the quality of soil which is there. And that is why when you go from state to state or to a different country, you will find the color of the soil is different, the fertility of the soil is different because of the above mentioned factors. Now the different types of crops, we know they grow in different types of soil. So we have studied in a couple of chapters that black soil is very good for cotton. Now if you try to grow cotton in sandy soil or brown soil or alluvial soil, it is not going to grow. It will only grow in black soil. So that is why certain crops are accustomed to certain soil, and there is a reason for it, and the reasons are the properties of the soil. So a crop will need a particular amount of water, a particular temperature, a particular humidity. So all this is very, very important for a crop to choose its soil. Now the climatic factors that we talked about, it affects the soil profile and it changes the structure of the soil. So the minute particles that we have seen, it changes the structure of those minute particles. The crops that grow like in for wheat and pulses like we have moong, dal, Bengal gram, all these pulses, they grow in clay and loamy soil. So it's not only clay soils, it's going to be very, very difficult. So it's a mixture of clay and loamy soils, which is very, very suitable for wheat and pulses. Then paddy means rice. Rice grows in clay soil. The reason for this, if you have seen the paddy field or the rice field, you must have seen that it is always waterlogged. So, and it has to be transferred. So the saplings have to be transferred, and after 2-3 transfers, then it grows into the rice crop. So for water holding, we need clayey soil, because we have studied that clayey soil doesn't allow the water to drain that easily. So it allows water logging, and that is very, very important for the crop, rice crop. Now we have sandy and loamy soil, which is very suitable for cotton, and for lentils and other pulses, loamy soil is required. Now we come to soil pollution. Soil pollution, like we know about air pollution and water pollution. So pollution is anything which is caused by pollutants, and soil is getting polluted. So we are using soil for our own use, but if we don't use it properly and we use it without putting our mind into it, so it has to be mindful use of the soil. So if we don't do it, then it is going to create a lot of problem for the future. So soil pollution is caused basically by throwing plastic into it, because plastic is non-biodegradable and it is getting mixed with the soil. So that is harming the soil. The chemicals that the factories, nearby factories and nearby people are throwing into the soil, that is also polluting the soil. Then we have pesticide. Now pesticides are the chemicals which are sprayed on the plants for killing the pest. Now pesticide will not differentiate between the pest and the good microorganism which are needed by the soil. So it is going to kill all. So when it is killing all, the soil will not be having good manure and good fertilizer making capacity, and that is going to make it infertile and polluted. And this pollution ultimately comes into the food chain, and it comes into the body of the animals which are eating that food. and the other waste products which are nearby. So all these things are causing soil pollution. Now this soil pollution can be reduced. It can be reduced. See, we know the causes. So to remove the causes, the best thing is to study the causes and try to avoid them, try to reduce them. So it's not possible that you eliminate it altogether, but definitely we can reduce it. So the first thing is avoid use of plastic, and even if you're using plastic, please dispose it off properly and not here and there. So that is very, very important. Then treating waste. So we have studied in this chapter of acid, bases and salt that waste is acidic and it has to be treated with a base to neutralize it. So instead of throwing waste directly into the onto the soil or the river, you should first treat it with a base to neutralize it and then throw it in the soil. Then we have chemicals. So before releasing them into the soil, we have to treat them. We have to reduce the use of pesticides because we know the harms of pesticide. Afforestation. Afforestation is, see, soil, if we don't plant anything on it, then soil will keep on moving here and there and it's going to remain infertile. But if you have plantation on that soil, then it remains fertile. Then you have to plant more trees. That is as same as afforestation. Now, after studying soil pollution, so there was one topic where we studied that if we don't plant, then the soil is going to move. Now this is called soil erosion. So soil erosion is the washing or the blowing away of the top layer of the soil by water or wind. It involves detachment, movement and deposition. Soil erosion is also caused by overcropping. So if you keep on sowing crops, keep on having their agriculture on that same soil and you're not letting it replenish, then it is going to cause erosion. So the top soil, the fertile part of the soil is going to get washed away. It is going to be having no nutrients into it. Then overgrazing. So if cattle keep on grazing the same land for years and years, then also it may lead to erosion. Then deforestation, that is cutting down the trees. The moment you cut down the trees, the soil is free to move. So it is going to move with the water and the wind and there will be problems. Effects of soil erosion. So because of soil erosion, there is reduced crop production. Crop is getting reduced because we are building concrete jungle. So we are taking away the agricultural land and building cities and factories on it. And because of which there will be reduced crop production. The eroded soil is deposited. So soil is moving here and there. And when it is moving here and there, it is getting deposited on the river beds, raising the levels and leading to floods. The most important cause or the effect of soil erosion is desertification. Desertification means if soil keeps on getting eroded, it is going to result into deserts. How do we prevent soil erosion? So for prevention of soil erosion, you need to plant. The effect is desertification. The cause is deforestation. So the way to prevent is going to be, you have to sow plants, that is vegetation, and you need to build retaining walls. So the soil remains at that particular place. For that, there have to be boundaries around it, so that even if there is water or there is effect of wind, it is not moving across. So these are the images of water erosion and wind erosion, which you will be seeing around you. So ultimately, we learn that we have to conserve the soil and save the earth. The first image that you see is of earth. Now earth, as of the image that we know, is actually a blue-green planet. That is what we understand by earth. But if you see this image, it is also earth, but there is no greenery, there is no water. There is only dry soil, there is no vegetation, and only humans are there. So such situation is going to be in few years if we don't conserve soil.